What's up, everybody? Michigan Edge here. If you guys watched my last video here, I got this cold steel large Voyager, and I had a little bit of grittiness, a little gritty feeling here when I'm opening the blade that wouldn't go away by cleaning the knife or oiling it. So what I'm going to do is just take this thing apart, and I'm going to probably lightly sand and polish the contact areas and probably tame the lock a little bit. But I wanted to take this knife apart just to kind of look inside there and see what we're dealing with. Maybe it's just a little bit of burrs. What you need to do this with is a, let's see here, I believe this is, yeah, this is a T6 Torx for the body screws, and then we have a T10 for the pivot. Just some stuff here I have, let me show you. If you're going to clean your knife, I use usually rubbing alcohol to degrease the knife. This shouldn't be too bad being new. I just use whatever oil I have, usually just the 3-in-1 oil. It goes a long way. I always use some blue Loctite for my screws when I reassemble it. Paper towel, some Q-tips here, cotton balls. There's the clip I took off. So a couple other things I'm going to do after I take this apart is right here where I markered the lock on the back here, I'm going to lightly sand and clean up the edges on this. It's a little sharp if you push on it, and I just want to slightly round the edges off. Like I said, I'm going to polish the contacts and hopefully just tame the lock a hair, maybe by taking off just a little bit of material in the lock bar there, or slightly polishing it off a little bit. So let's go ahead. This is just going to be a somewhat short video, I hope. I'm not going to get into detail. We're just going to take this thing apart and see what we're dealing with on the inside. Let's go ahead and drop our pivot screw out, and we can see here that the screw did have blue Loctite on there, so that's a good job by Cold Steel. And once again, the knife really wasn't that bad. I can see how it passed through quality control. Just a little bit of a nuisance to me, a little bit. It kind of bothers me just a little bit, enough to where I wanted to take the knife apart and check it out. So that is what we're going to do here. But yeah, the Voyager series is a really good bang for the buck knife. I've owned quite a few of these over the years, and they've always been a nice hard use, affordable knife. But I've never actually taken one apart. Usually you never really need to take a knife apart, honestly. If you keep your knife clean, wash it out once in a while and oil it, they tend to last for quite a long time. But so this would be kind of interesting to see inside here. I've never actually seen one taken apart. Let's put our screws way back here. I got a little ledge here just so they won't go nowhere. Alright. Let's pop this Zytel scale off here and see what we got on the inside. I got my little helper here. This is a little Craftsman pocket screwdriver. I use this a lot at work. I'll kind of use this just to help me work this this handle off here. There we go. Okay, so there's our Zytel over mold. You can see we got full. I don't have a magnet handy. I think this may actually be steel here. I thought they used to be aluminum. I'll have to check that later on. But let's go ahead and try to work the scale off here now. There she goes. You can kind of, a lot of oil on the inside here. There's our washers. Let's keep an eye on the order here. So we have, that's kind of interesting here. We have a, looks like a phosphorus bronze washer and a paper thin silicone washer, which went on the blade side. So remember to put that back how it is. That's kind of a weird setup, but I know I think the Ontario Rat series has that same setup, and it works really good with the Rat. The Rat's a very fast opening and closing knife. I'll set that aside also. Let's sneak a peek here and look at how our triad lock's working here. We can see that we have the lock bar rested in here. Open the blade up. Now right here is where it's super gritty. And it looks to me like okay, there could be two things going on here. It's going to be on the lock bar itself. It looks like either the surface on the lock bar, and the lock bar is also, it looks like it's touching or lightly rubbing on this lock pin here, or the triad lock pin. So yeah, that's how your triad lock works. You can see the blades resting on this pin, and we have this strong lock bar in here applying the tension on the knife. And it's kind of cool to see how it's actually pretty simple. Let's go ahead and depress this this lock and kind of look here a little bit. So yeah, what I'm going to do, guys, let's go ahead and take this let's take this apart here. There's our blade. Looks pretty clean on both sides. I don't see any burrs. There's maybe a little bit of spots here on the surface that rides on the lock, but I'm going to go ahead and polish the blade off just a little bit. Let's get this lock bar out of here and kind of check that out. Let's see what we have going on here. I'm going to use a screwdriver just to help her out. Okay, so there's our lock bar. Let's get a paper towel here so we can see the surface that's riding on the blade. I don't see any really, I mean, it could be lightly polished here. Sorry, I'm out of focus, guys. This could be lightly polished here, but I'm not seeing anything that would cause a major problem. So what I think could be going on, I think the lock bar is rubbing gently on the what do you call it here, on the stop pin. I think the lock bar is rubbing gently on the stop pin. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this up a little bit and polish it off, polish the whole contact surface down a little bit, and I'll clean this up, probably degrease it a little bit and then lightly oil it, reassemble it, and I'll do a follow-up video just so we can kind of see how this how it is. Like I said, it really wasn't horrible, and like I said, I'm going to go through and right here where I painted, I'm going to round the edges off just a little bit more so it's more comfortable to depress with your finger. But there you go, guys. That's the Voyager. So our lock bar here just rests into place. Pretty simple. Very almost like the Spyderco Endura has the same type of setup here, or similar. But very, very simple, tough design. But there you go, guys. I'll cut the video here. I'm going to go ahead and take this apart. We'll clean it up, and I'll do a follow-up video here shortly. Cold Steel Voyager. Stay tuned for video 3. You guys have a great night. Thanks for joining me. Michigan Edge, out.